Women Innovators. Interviews with women with big messages and big missions, sharing their stories to inspire you to live your passion and step up to make the world a better place. Here's your host, Tami Patzer.
Hi, this is Tami Patzer, and I'm really pleased to introduce you to our guest today, Ilene Gottlieb. She's affectionately known as the Heart Healer. She's a speaker, author, and facilitator of healing and guide to conscious heart connection. Her passion is to guide and support others by remembering that we are all here in these bodies for one sole purpose: to learn to be consciously connected to our heart of love through the human experience. She imagines a world with all the humanity remembering their heart of love and living this way consciously. Welcome, Ilene.
Oh, thank you so much, Tami. It's my joy to be here today.
I am really excited about this because you are also a nurse. You have 40 years of experience as a nurse, and we really didn't tell people too much about that, but I really want to talk about the conscious heart connection. Tell us what it is and how do you know when you're connected?
I'm happy to do that. And I want to add just one more thing first, because you just mentioned that I'm a nurse, and it's interesting. Nurses are considered to be, at least we hope that they are, compassionate, heart-centered people in the way that they provide care. And when I went through training, that's exactly what we were trained to be. So I have been not consciously offering care and nurturing through a conscious heart connection, and now I am choosing to do it consciously. So what does that mean? What it means is that there is literally a conscious connection that one makes to their heart center, the heart energy center. And we can do that in a lot of different ways. One way is to simply put a hand on the heart, or both hands on the heart, or move into like a prayerful position with hands in a prayer space, and just have the breath focus, breathing into the heart and out of the heart. And because we're using breath to create that connection, it's breath of life. So we are affirming that we are living, breathing, sentient beings in this moment. And that by breathing into and out of our heart center, we are consciously connecting there. Because when we do that, our heart center energy expands, and we are then living from that place of conscious heart connection. The catch is, not easy to hold that space 24/7, but we do the best we can.
So when you're doing this, obviously, if you're trying to be conscious and loving, so you said you can connect by placing your hands on your heart, or by doing the normal prayer position, which would be two hands together and up close to your face under your chin. So if it is so difficult to live in this, what is the expectation? Should you start your day like this, or whenever you need to, just pause and reconnect? What would you suggest?
The latter, but it's also both. For me, it is the way that I guide clients and people that I work with. I basically say to them, once we've established that they know what that feels like, which is really effortless to do, that you begin your day like that. And when you find that you are not consciously connected, and the way that you can tell that is that you basically are not feeling good. You know, you're suffering, you're struggling in some way, you're out of your zone, so to speak. And when you get that awareness on a conscious level, as quickly as possible, the easiest tool is to just put a hand on your heart center, which is the energy center in the center of the chest, and breathe with your breath focused on breathing into and out of the heart center. And it will bring you back to being consciously connected to your heart, and you begin again. And it doesn't matter how often we do that. Because what I believe is, and this is what I've been guided to know, I don't just believe it, I know it to be my truth for me and for humanity, is that that's why we're in a body. We're literally here in this human experience to learn how to live, to remember how to live from a conscious heart connection. In our relationship with ourselves first, in our relationship with our source as we believe it to be, in our relationship with others and our life experiences. Because imagine if that's how you're living, then that's where your conscious choices are coming from and your actions follow. And that's why when I think about what this world might look like if everybody's choosing to live this way, I mean, that just feels really yummy to me. I want that. That and a Star Trek world.
Well, if you think about it, if everybody were connected through the heart and living in that essence of love, we would have a really, it would be like almost a utopian type situation where everybody treated people the way that everyone wants to be treated. It could be really, really a beautiful experience.
Exactly.
You also do conscious channeling of the Akashic records.
It's a mouthful.
That is very interesting because, to tell you the truth, I've heard of it, but I don't have a lot of knowledge. So I'm going to look to you to really explain so that we can all understand what the records are and how they affect us in our daily lives. Because obviously for a lot of people, and I'm going to say that word, it's woo-woo. But for many of our listeners, it's like, no, this is real stuff and I really want to know about it. So there's probably a couple schools of thought on it, right. But I have heard a lot about it and it's often referenced and it's like, well, okay, tell me more because I don't quite understand what this, and again, I'm probably pronouncing it incorrectly, Akashic records or Akashic records. Tell me what it is and the benefits of experiencing, for example, if you do this type of reading, but first let's talk about the records, what they are.
Okay. And woo-woo, my dad, when he was in a body, used to call me his woo-woo nurse. So quite frankly, that's a term of endearment to me because my dad really loved when I used to do energetic healing on him. So woo-woo is actually okay. Voodoo, maybe not, but woo-woo, absolutely. So what are the records? The Akashic records, as far as my understanding of them, is that they are often described as a hall of records that exists on another dimension. And it holds the vibrational imprint of the soul's journey, whatever you believe that to be. Some people believe that we've had many different lifetimes. Some people believe that we're only here for the one. And irregardless of what your belief is, the soul exists before, during, and after this human incarnation. And so all that it experiences is recorded and held with very loving care by those that caretake it. I refer to them as the lords and masters of the Akashic realm. And that information is always available to us because it is recorded within our soul's matrix, the energy of who we are. And so someone who is able to be a channel of that information, some people are what we refer to as a conscious channel, which is what I am. And what that means is that I am very present here and now as I interpret the information that is flowing from the Akashic records in a vibrational way for my client. So an Akashic records reading is a question-driven reading. So when I do these sessions, a client comes to me and they come with a list of questions in that they want information about. And it may be about things that are going on in their personal life, things that are going on in business. They may want to have information about what's going on in their body, like a medical intuitive reading. And so the questions, the more specific the question, the more specificity with which the information flows. And so my job is to help them to language it in a way that we get to the heart of the question, the information flows, and it's a healing opportunity at the same time, because this information is flowing vibrationally from their soul. So it is a wonderful, gentle, and empowering and healing experience. Did that answer your question?
I think
I
so.
hope.
Because okay, and I'll recap it to see if I'm understanding what you're saying. So you are the channel, and you are helping someone like me to connect to my soul's records, and then you're able to verbalize it in a way so that I can understand it. Because one of the things I noticed when I started to feel like I had connections, I was getting a lot of symbolism, and it was like, I don't know what this means. And it was very frustrating because even though I was receiving messages, they were all in symbols. So one day I got a little, let's just say, upset, and I actually yelled at my angels. And I said, hey, I do not understand anything that you're trying to tell me. I know you're trying to tell me something. Speak English, because that's my language. That's what I understand. And after that, I got messages that were very clear and in plain English. So what you're doing is you're helping to pull down the records and translate it into plain, understandable English. And I think you said something that was very important, and that is that you have your clients come prepared with the questions, because I know often people will go into different readings, and the person will say, what are your questions? And they are like, I don't know, because they weren't really thinking of it in that way, that of having questions prepared. So am I accurate in?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There are all different kinds of readings, and but this type of a reading is question driven. You know, some people read by getting imprints off of jewelry or getting imprints off of the person themselves. This is a very specific question driven reading where the intention is very clearly stated where that information is supposed to flow from. And when that information is flowing, it is coming to me vibrationally and to the client simultaneously. So they're getting everything that I'm getting. I'm simply interpreting it for them, as you said, translating it into language. But sometimes, like you experienced when you first woke up to your connection, I am offered images that I don't always know what the meaning of it is, but it's always meaningful to the client. And what I do in those situations is I'm asked to describe the image that I see, and then we ask what is the meaning of it, to offer that information also to the client. So it happens in many different ways, but it's all good, as they say.
Well, that is, I think, really important for people to understand that whenever you're talking about things like this, it is all in love and goodness and light.
Indeed. This information, because it's coming from the soul's presence, the information is always intended to empower the individual to make conscious choices that are in alignment with their soul's purpose for being here. And that's why when we ask the question, we language it very specifically. Does it serve my highest good? Not, is it going to be a great party? Am I going to have a great time? You know, does it serve my highest good too? ... And I invite clients, whether they're having a reading or not, when they're asking for wisdom, that they ask it in that way, because it's not ego connected. It's truly heart centered, and the information will always be in alignment with their soul's purpose for being here. And when that happens, we know that's like when we're in that zone and everything opens up. It's everything becomes effortless, which is the way I prefer to live my life as much as I can. And I think most people would agree that that's a lot more fun than struggling.
I definitely agree to that, because struggling is not what we want to do. No. So when people like, you know, I've been on this journey, you know, we've all been on the journey our entire lives, but we just maybe at points in our lives we've been a little closer, than other times. And I noticed that the more I open myself up, the more I get connected to really cool people like you. Ooh. And it's like every person I talk to, I learn something new, and it's very exciting. So thinking about that, if somebody is learning, obviously they're listening to this program, so that means that they are in the learning mode. They want to know more. Right. What do you suggest that they do to get started? What can a person do to start opening up and realizing their heart-centered connection is very, very real?
Right. It's a great question. One of the simplest ways is to simply do it, is to simply put your hands on your heart and breathe your connection. The more often you do it, the more available it is, the more expanded it becomes, the more a way of being it is for each of us. If you are having a challenge doing that on your own, there are practitioners that can help you to open up your energy centers, including the heart center. It's something that I can do with clients long distance fairly easily, but some people like to do things with touch and in person, and I always honor that. And I can make referrals to people in many different parts of the country, and if that's something that they would like to do. Have a large network of people through the Healing Beyond Borders organization that do wonderful energetic healing work, as well as friends and colleagues in many different places. But that's the simplest way. You want to just activate your conscious heart connection. And the key here is conscious. We're always connected to it. It doesn't kind of sit somewhere on a shelf. It's part of us. It is our doorway to our soul's wisdom and connection. So we're never not connected to the soul and to our heart center, but really what we're suggesting here is to make it a conscious process. And when it's a conscious process, it just expands the beneficial effects of it, if that makes sense.
Oh, it makes perfect sense. So you are, again, you are a nurse. So of course, a nurse is got a special connection, I think, to healing anyway, because you have the educational background and know about the body. What about the use of essential oils or other tools and products? How do they work to help you to open up?
That's a great question. Thank you, Tami, because what I love to do is I like to layer different tools. I even layer oils, but I like to layer different tools because they touch who we are on different layers of who we are vibrationally. So for the physical layer, there are a couple of really wonderful tools, and they impact us on all layers: energetic, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. And to me, that's the true holistic model. And when those aspects of who we are in balance, we feel really wonderful. So one of the tools, the essential oils, I love Young Living's therapeutic grade essential oils. And there are several different oils that help to expand that conscious heart connection. My favorite is Sacred Frankincense. I put it on before our interview today. And it just has a wonderful way of balancing the energy system and expanding the conscious heart connection through the heart center, as well as through the energy center we refer to as the crown, the one that comes out above the top of the head. And that is oftentimes referred to as the energy center that connects us with source energy. And so energetic support through essential oils for this specific issue is very wonderful. There's also a wonderful blend called Joy that has several different single essential oils in it. And just like it's labeled, when you put it on the heart, it expands the experience of joy. It was actually the first oil I used as a perfume when I stopped using anything synthetic. They're very wonderful, and they support health and wellness. Another great tool is there are several of them. Well, maybe not several, but there are a couple of them. And you can find them on the website heartmath.org. HEARTMATH.org. This is an organization that I have an extremely large amount of respect for. It's been around for decades. They are a scientific research nonprofit that really has proven that the heart organ itself has the ability to do what the brain can't. It can literally, when you focus on breathing into and out of the heart center, they have tools that will measure the coherence of the heart center, the heart's energy, and it can bring all of the organ systems into harmonic resonance with it, or coherence with it, which the brain can't do. And we think the brain's our central intelligence agency because it's connected throughout the body. But they have these amazing tools. I'm trying to think of the name of it. There's one that's a computer system, but also I believe it's called an M-Wave. And there's a handheld unit as well as a computer software program that you can upload into your computer with a sensor where you get an immediate biofeedback response that you are literally consciously connected to your heart. So it's a great tool for people that need something with more form to assist them in this. And for people that are very high stress, high anxiety, or they're really working hard with conscious intention to lower blood pressure, to lower heart rate, to keep the heart rate more balanced, these tools put out by heartmath.org are worth the effort and energy to take a look at.
Wow,
I hope that answered.
Yeah, that is really interesting. When you were talking about the essential oil of frankincense, of course, I immediately thought of the gifts the wise men supposedly took to Jesus, and frankincense and myrrh were among those. So I thought that was very interesting. And I've had a lot of people talk about essential oils and how different ones, make them feel better. Right. So that's definitely something to look at. So I wanted to ask you if you would do a short guided meditation for conscious heart connection so that our listeners can experience that. And I'll just do a little disclaimer. Obviously, don't do this and try to drive. Yeah. You want to not be being in a place where you need to be focused on doing something, because obviously when you do a meditation, you are, calming yourself down. So just a little disclaimer there. Do not listen to this and drive while doing that.
Thank you. Good choice. Okay, so let us begin by, if you are not driving, closing your eyes and relaxing your abdominal muscles. Make sure everything is uncrossed unless you like to sit in a lotus position. Otherwise, don't cross your ankles or at your knee or your arms. Just gently put your hands on your lap. And begin to take a couple of nice, deep, slow breaths. In and out. This is not the time to hold your stomach in, so just relax your abdominal muscles and allow that breath to come in gently and breathe out. And begin to notice how your shoulders begin to relax and how your breath becomes easier, slower, less frenetic. And take a couple of more breaths, maybe 2 or 3. Take your time. And as you do, just be aware of how your body feels as you're breathing. Just scan it gently without judging, from your head down to your toes. Notice where you hold your tension. Just be aware. And perhaps even take a breath into that area of your body that calls your attention to it because it's holding dense energy or tension. And after a couple of nice, deep, slow breaths, again, now allow your breath to focus breathing into and out of your heart center. If you want, you can place a hand or both hands over this heart center, which is in the center of your chest. Where you touch, your mind focuses on, which is why we don't cross anything. So if you hold your hands on your heart, you'll notice your mind focuses there. So breathing gently with a focus of going into and breathing out of the heart center. Relax your hands. Make this easy. And now as you're breathing into and out of your heart center, imagine a beautiful pink light. And this light is like a bubble of light all around you. And there's a never-ending supply of this beautiful pink light. And this pink light is love light. And as you now focus your breath into and out of your heart center, imagine you're breathing that pink love light into and out of your heart center. It is the color of love. And it wakens up all of the cells, all of the energy centers within the heart center, within the body, and throughout the energy system that is you. So imagine just filling yourself up with this beautiful pink light as you're breathing into your heart center and out of it. And simply be aware of how it feels in your chest area, in that heart center, as you're breathing ever so gently this beautiful pink love light into and out of there. You may feel a warmth underneath your hands. You may feel a gentle sense of peace. You may feel calm. Each person experiences their heart center in a very personal way. There may be images that come to you, or you may hear sounds or words. Be open to how this experience feels to you. And when you feel complete, for now, for you can come back to this place of connectedness as often as your heart desires, or as often as you feel need. Take a couple of nice breaths, and with these breaths, reconnect with your physical body. Feel your feet and your legs. Feel your torso and your arms and hands, and feel your head, and give your body a little bit of movement so that you are more connected to it on the physical level. And then gently release your hands from your heart center if you've been holding it there. And open your eyes and become fully present here and now. Taking one more cleansing breath to become fully present here and now. And that completes our guided meditation.
That was absolutely beautiful. And I participated, and it was definitely exactly like what you said, a very deep conscious heart connection.
Oh.
Beautiful experience.
Oh, thank you. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
So I wanted to ask you, where can we find out more about you and your services?
Okay.
Because obviously a lot of people, I'm sure, want to connect with you.
That would be lovely. That would bring me great joy. So my website address is www.ilene, I-L-E-N-E, thehearthealer.com. That's Ilene, I-L-E-N-E, thehearthealer.com. Or you can just go with my name, Ilene Gottlieb. So that would be ILENEGOTTLIEB.com, whichever feels the easiest for you. And there's a lot of information on my website that you can enjoy there. Although I haven't done it recently, there are several articles in there on spirituality, on health and wellness, on essential oils. I haven't kept up with that very much, but they're there if you want to look at them. And there's information about the Akashic Records. If you opt into my website, there's a wonderful meditation that you'll receive as a gift. And if you go on my Young Living page, there's an additional opt-in gift called the Indispensable Guide to Essential Oils that's published by Life Science Publishing. It's like your A to Z guide to using essential oils. It's actually a very valuable gift. And that is my gift to you for opting in on that page. If you enjoy essential oils and want to get to know them and how to incorporate them into your life, it's a wonderful reference book. And it's an ebook, so it's easy to download.
And another beautiful thing is the entire Young Living catalog is available at your website too. But I do think that anyone who's interested in learning about essential oils, your free gift about the guide to essential oils, I think is very valuable because it's natural, plant-based, God-given or universe-given oils and uses, and a lot of these uses have been around for thousands of years, and they're very, very useful. So those are wonderful. I really, really want to thank you for the time you took with us today, and I appreciate the fact that you taught us so much about the heart connection and about the Akashic Records, because like I said, I really didn't know anything about them, and now I have a better understanding of that. So thank you.
My joy, Tami. I want to thank you so much for this opportunity to serve your audience through this interview. It is my absolute joy. As I said in the beginning, my vision is a world where we all live from a place of conscious heart connection, and we do this one lovely connection at a time. So thank you for the privilege of sharing this time with you. Blessings.
This is Tami Patzer. Go make it a beautiful day.
You've been listening to Women Innovators with Tami Patzer. To learn more, please go to womeninnovatorsradio.com. And please do subscribe and share to spread the big messages and big missions to change the world.